Welcome to the Edinburgh Fringe. But who is the mysterious Hector the Director? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome. Edinburgh calling, and Ewan Spence behind the microphone once more to give you a little look behind the scenes and a little bit more from the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the arts festival that takes over Scotland's capital city every single August. This year with well over 3,500 shows. And I suppose it's been long enough I shall remember you of my rule of three on how to plan your Edinburgh Festival Day. The first one is to pick a show that you're comfortable with, that you know the person, that you know the theatre writer, where you're just going, yeah. Second one, have a look through reviews. What reviewers do you trust? What are they enjoying? What catches your eye in all of that? Now, that could be from the magazines, that could be from podcasts, that could even be from the reviews that the venues put outside on the railings. Have a look through them, get another opinion. And the third one, and it is a tough one in the current financial climates, I do get that. The Free Fringe does help, the various flavours of them, but choose a show at random. Just open the book up, stick your finger down and go, what's that? Go around the apps. In fact, no, don't even go around the apps. Just find a venue, just look around, you're in Edinburgh, and go, what's on now? A show that you know you'll like, a show that you know somebody else likes, and a show that the universe has put in front of you. There's your Fringe. And let me just be that middle, here's one you might enjoy, as Thom Tuck joins me on the podcast to talk about the projects he's bringing to this year's Fringe. From a show asking you how to fringe, through work-in-progress shows on cuddly animals and chaotic tales and late-night alternative memorials, to the myth and malice of the conman. Tuck is keeping himself busy in August. It's the Wolf of Pryais that sits at the heart of his 2026. Tuck inhabits the role of Gregor McGregor, the 19th century Scottish adventurer who convinced hundreds of people to invest in, and in some cases emigrate to, a country that did not exist, the Central American territory of Poyais. We talk about bringing multiple shows to the Fringe and why each one is special, how Gregor MacGregor holds up a mirror to society today, and find out more about the mysterious Hector the Director. There is a danger when people who have been at the Fringe for far too long that they end up talking about cliches and looking at all those young whippersnappers going, you don't know what it's like with a 20-year-long stare. Hi, Tom. How long's your stare? It's an audio podcast. We might have trouble already, but it was a very good stare. It looked to be about, 23 years?
I've done 23 Fringes. So I did 99... 2002 until pandemic and since.
What brings you back again?
Well, wild horses couldn't drag me away. I lived in Edinburgh for 6 years, university, and then working there for 2 more years, directly because I went up when I was 17 in 1999 with a production of West Side Story. Was there a twist? Yes, capoeira. But we won a Herald Angel and it did quite well. But I was just amazed about the Fringe, and I love the city as well. It's just so many people trying their hardest, trying their best to create something, and loads of people who want to experience the work.
When did you feel that the Fringe wasn't just going to be a one-off thing for you, that it was going to be a part of your creative life for a long time?
Probably Fringe 2002.
Why?
Because I was at Edinburgh University and joined their reasonably storied improv team, the Improverts, operating out of the Bedlam Theatre at the bottom of George IV. And I wasn't very good. but it was a midnight show to mainly students in the Bedlam Theatre, which at that point had the best combination of comfortable seat and cheap drinks that you could get. So the audience was pretty full every night, and so you got reps. You get better, and that's another thing I think about the Fringe that a lot of people don't really take into account is you come out of it a better performer.
We talk about rehearsals, and you're rehearsing one of the shows that you're bringing up just now.
Mm-hmm.
How different are rehearsals and sort of run-throughs outside of Edinburgh compared to that idea of reps?
I think anytime you're in front of an audience, attempting to entertain them in sort of whatever point you are on the spectrum of entertaining, whether it's a tragedy or whether it's a silly little improv show, whether you're singing a song or two, that is a rep. Obviously, the bigger the audience is, a rehearsal is the rest of the cast, the director, and often a stage manager. That's who's in the room. And so you still want to entertain them in the way that you're looking to entertain. But then there's something alchemical about the Fringe, the wide spectrum of people it's possible to get in your audience. You know, people of all ages, if they're allowed in to the show. The more people and the more different types of people you can stand in front of and try and entertain, the better.
What's the last show like? You know, the last time you're performing something at the Fringe, which for many people might be the last time they're performing that show all told, depending on what happens afterwards. What's that feeling like? I
think if you've done the full 3 weeks, which is no longer as much of a given nowadays, which is a good thing for the performers who can't sort of take it. You know, there's some people. You know, every brain and body is different, and there are some people whose bodies just like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do the two. It's 3.5 weeks with often one day off. And there's so much else that you have to do. So it's physically demanding, but it's also mentally demanding, especially if you've written it as well or you're involved in that sense. So I think almost always at the end of a full Fringe run, it's relief. No matter whether the show is going to have relief and pride, usually, because if the show's not going well on day one, bloody hell, we've got some time to fix it. Let's not fly tomorrow. Let's work on the show. Because when the show's good, like the people who've come in will fly it the next. They'll talk about it if it's good.
And what about if you're taking that show beyond Edinburgh?
I think it depends on the time gap, because most things in September are already booked. So then they're having to wonder about planning. Well, are we going to have to re-rehearse this? Will I remember it if it's a solo show? Is it going for a long run one place, or do I have to now sort of travel to ... all over the country or Europe or wherever the hell it is it's going?
This year, you're not just doing the one show.
I mean,
they might ask you to come on the TV.
Naming year since 1999 that I've done only one show.
My research is not that deep nor as stocky. Sorry,
okay.
Tom.
And I don't think people update my Wikipedia page.
Oh, I've never seen a more asking, but not without asking. How many shows? How many shows is it this year? 4
shows, conventional shows. The one that's been going the longest time is the one that will come back every year. God forbid I'm not involved one year. It will be there anyway. But that's the late night comedy cabaret alternative show, the Alternative Comedy Memorial Society, #ACMS. You can use the hashtag if you want. It won't make any difference. There's too many people who use the same hashtag. It's really confusing. What? Andover County Middle School and this Malaysian restaurant. Oh no, I wanted to find the comedy. So that's been going a dozen years at the Fringe. And then I'm doing The Wolf of Pryais, which is how we're currently saying it, which is a brand new play. Right, it has been performed once before by another comedian. Can you guess who?
Is it Joe Brand?
No. First two letters are correct.
Oh, comedian that starts with B R. Brendan Lee Mulligan.
No, sorry, J.O.
Ah, right. Okay. No, don't know.
Josh Norris.
Ah. So how come he's done it before?
Because it was put on in London as a 2-act play. And I don't think he wanted to do a play at the Fringe. I think he's doing a short run of his current work in progress at the Fringe, so wasn't going to be up there for the entire time. So they've adapted it down to 60 minutes. And yeah. What's funny about it is that it's a true story. That's not the funny bit. That's just some fact. Is that I actually researched this story myself 10 years ago for an unrelated project. So I already knew the biographical information about the person I'm playing, which is quite odd and serendipitous that it's happened. But that is a play about arguably the 19th century greatest conman. And that's on at Assembly Roxy, in the box outside Assembly Roxy. So I'm looking forward to my 1800s garb being exactly weather appropriate for being in a metal box in August.
Now, you know and I know that there are going to be some times that you will appreciate that garb heavily.
Yes, but then there'll be days where the rain's interfering with the sound. Then on top of that, I'm doing a chat show. Started day with me, How To Fringe with Thom Tuck. I've currently got the. It's not good for an audio podcast, but you can see that's the booking sheet for the first week and a bit as it stands. And then on the 20th, I'll start a work in progress show, stand-up show, about called Heartwarming Animal Content.
If I ask you to choose your favourite, because the budgets for the Fringe are going up, especially for people who are attending the Fringe, they went up to you and said, I can see one Thom Tuck at the Fringe this year. Where would you want them to go?
Well, I can't say ACMS because I host it. I mean, if you're there for a few days, come see an ACMS because you'll see at least 9 acts that we think are worthwhile. It'd be as diverse a bill as it's more diverse than you usually get at a random comedy night in all directions. And it at the Fringe, it has this sort of magical, almost shamanic thing to it when it works. And it worked, I would say. We had 13 shows, we have 13 shows this year. The 13th show is the awards, by the way, so that's not a real show. Don't come to that if that's the only day you're in town. But when it hits, it's very special. Of the other 3, again, I can't really say the chat show because that's the same deal. It's me talking with people. I'll be on the entire time instead of hosting at ACMS. The work in progress, I haven't finished writing it yet, so I can't say that. So by default, The Wolf of Pryais. But no, it's, yeah. We like the work we've done already. Me, Hector the director, and Rosie the stage manager. But we've only done 2.5 days of work on it so far.
Certainly, at the point of time as we're recording this early in
At the point of time, we're at the beginning of two weeks of quite intensive rehearsal. Then we have 5 performances in London to kind of tinker and get it tightened up. Then a few days off, and then we come up.
Even in those first days of rehearsals, what's changed with the show?
Because it's a new play, it's not a published play, and the writer is involved. He's not in the room because he's got a job, and he's taken his 2 weeks holiday to come up to the Fringe to be up when there when it's happening. So there is leeway on the text. So textually, I'm proposing cuts or proposing reordering things, and sometimes as a writer, you can write down all the ideas in the right order for the audience to know it. But then as a performer, you come and say, actually, but if I just say these ideas in a different order, it also functions as a joke. So there's quite a lot of that. They had a blueprint from when Joz did it, and a set of props, but it was a 2-act structure, and there's a lot of material being cut out of it. So there was still sort of figuring out, and also in Edinburgh, you don't want to take that much stuff. Your dressing room capacity is very limited. I broke the step ladder today, so we'll have to have a think about that. It's all a bit in flux at the moment. Not the kind of shape of the show, but almost most of the working parts are up for grabs.
Is there a part of you that really enjoys this part of the process?
Oh my God, yes. Today we were, our director Hector was ill. So me and the stage manager just went over what we'd done in the previous 2 days for the morning. Then they had a production meeting, and then we came in and we thought, well, what can we do to be useful? So we recorded loads of went over like small bits of the show that we'd already worked on with Hector the Director. Hector the Director.
That's the merch call, isn't it?
Well, the director doesn't usually get much, but when they're trying to sell a show. But the producer was there, obviously, for the production meeting, and we were talking about our plan we'd made for Saturday, which was try and have a stagger through of the entire show. If I have to pick up a script, fine, but we did stagger through it on Saturday. And the producer was like, we don't have the space on Saturday. Because I like to give the creative team a weekend. I'm like, yeah, but you need a weekend when you don't enjoy the thing you do during the week. If I have to do something Monday to Friday that I hate, yeah, give me a hell of a weekend. But yeah, no, it's an absolute joy being in a rehearsal room.
It's amazing how connected the world is and how aware we are of other countries these days, isn't it?
Hashtag sarcasm?
Possibly, yes, because that sort of knowledge or lack of knowledge is at the heart of this show, The Wolf.
I suppose, yeah. There was, I don't know how much of the story is useful to tell, but there's a sort of not quite a gold rush, but a land grab. It's the colonial powers taking the new world, and the sort of fights then for independence by the Republican governments who didn't want to be ruled by monarchs far away. But there was a lot of money to be made, and most of the people who were putting money in had no idea what they were talking about. Because if you say, yes, we're building a railroad in Gran Colombia, I go, oh, that sounds great. But they don't speak Spanish. They'd never heard those words before. So, yeah, well, I suppose we have the capacity to be more connected. Whether we are is another thing.
The fact of the recontextualization of our protagonist, antagonist, and antagonistic protagonist in the show.
I mean, you have to say the protagonist is. It's. I mean, I play a couple of the other characters, but I play the other characters are being played by him, so it has to be a protagonist. Whether he's an anti-hero or not is the discussion, I think.
So you have this nefarious, possibly, scheme going on, and he's telling it from the point
nefarious as how? Nefarious as how?
Not too many spoilers coming out here, but yes, let's just say he's a bit of a charlatan, bit of a cad, bit of a bounder, bit of a scoundrel.
Scallywag, one might say.
Scallywag, yeah, really good Scrabble.
A roustabout.
And it does do that wonderful thing of the art of holding up a bit of mirror to society in the present day.
Well, and this is where I would be cautious about any specific spoilers. There is one sort of quite specific parallel drawn, but it's quite towards the end. But there are many others that aren't sort of spelt out during the thing. But yes, it's about it's about striving, an individual striving, and whether other people get hurt on the way is the question.
Do you ever have a worry that current events might overtake this?
Well, I mean, the first date referred to is 1806, so I think I think it can be looked as history being cyclical rather than it being overtaken.
I really look forward to seeing this production. There's a lot going on. As many people will have realised going through this, we're not here to tell you the entire story. We're here to give you some ideas. We're also here to give you links into the box office back at our website for all the shows that you're going to be on, edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com. But if you're out and about in Edinburgh, as many of you are, grab your notebooks out now, because Tom's going to tell us again when all the shows are on.
1:30. How to Fringe with Thom Tuck. That's at Nicholson Square. From the 20th, 3:05. That is at Potterrow Port. That is the stand-up show. Heartwarming animal content. Then at 8:30, The Wolf of Pryais. And then at 23:55 is the Alternative Comedy Memorial Society.
And it's such a shame we don't have Radio 4 Long Live, because that is the perfect voice for it, Tom. And outside of those shows, Tom, where can people find out more about you?
I'm at Turleygod across the internet. Quiz, that is a quote from what Shakespeare play?
Is it Love's Labour's 1?
No, it's Lear.
Are you sure now?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then.
Yeah. In one of Edgar's speeches, when he's pretending to be the mad beggar, poor Tom, he says, "Poor Tom, poor Turleygod, poor Tom." And in my annotated edition at A level, it said, "There is no satisfactory explanation for this." So, well, that I'll take that. I'll have that.
That's mine. Sounds lovely. We'll have links.
Turlygod.
And we will have links to those as well, so people can get through the websites and the socials, as I said again, back from our site. Tom, I know you're going to enjoy yourself. You do it every year, but
I
do enjoy yourself. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. And thanks for making this very enjoyable.
Thom Tuck there with his 4 shows. The Wolf of Poyais at Assembly Roxy, 8:30 p.m. Heartwarming animal content in the Big Yurt at 3:05. The Alternative Comedy Memorial Society, 5 to midnight at the Monkey Barrel. And How to Fringe, 1:30 every afternoon. And Hoots at Nicholson Square. As always, we will have links to those back at our website, edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com. They will go straight into the box office. Some of those are running to the 31st, some are only running from the 20th, so do check listings for details, as they would say. So there we are. It's back out into the wilds of Edinburgh for myself to find you more. It's wherever you are. If you're in Edinburgh, do enjoy your time. If you're not, well, I'll do my best to bring you a flavour of the Fringe. But no matter where you are, the usual plea goes out now. Like, love, share, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you find us, wherever you listen to us, wherever you can leave us a thumbs up or a star rating. Very much appreciated, and I'll talk to you in the next show. Ta-ra for now. You've been listening to the Edinburgh Fringe Show, hosted by Ewan Spence, produced by Spence Media for the Podcast Corner. Listen to more from The Fringe at edinburghfringe.thepodcastcorner.com.